You know, if someone told me how I would describe the Edge of Fate's campaign and what it has to offer, I would say that Lightfall was the mummy, but nobody knows who the daddy is. Some people believe it's the final shape, but others believe it's Witch Queen. They had a baby, and the result is the Edge of Fate. If you know, then you know. But what I'm saying is the Edge of Fate had an amazing campaign story-wise. It felt like it was up there with some of the top story content we've had, but gameplay-wise, it felt like you're just forced to use things like Matterspark every 5 minutes, like Strand in Lightfall. It was okay to begin with, but it got too much after a while. When I play a story campaign, I like to enjoy the story, focus on the story and play it how I want to play. I don't want to run around as a bull multiple times every single mission. Sometimes I'm just stood there like a lemon like, huh? What do I do? Where do I go? Like, bruh. I just want to experience the campaign, and then I'm happy to solve puzzles on Kepler later. Just my take, your opinion is your opinion after all. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about that today, I just wanted to share my thoughts on that, but there is something that I do want to talk about, because I've seen mixed feedback on it, and I feel like after quite a few hours of grinding, I can finally give my own thoughts on it, sort of like a review. And that's about the portal that we got with the Edge of Fate. Now I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, and this might seem like an unpopular opinion, but I think the portal is actually a fantastic feature, but at the same time, as ironic as this sounds, it was a successful failure. Now what I mean by this is it's a good feature, but it currently isn't meeting expectations. Let me clarify. On the positive side, we can now farm activities for loot and power levels quickly. We can do it more efficiently, and it's easier to do so. We can load into a quick encore in 1 week and farm it over and over as much as we want and keep leveling up and eventually unlock more powerful armor to the point that we're earning tier 5s eventually, and it truly feels like you're progressing in the game. It's quick, it's simple, and it's easy, and I think overall with the portal, it's trying to give you a simplistic view of what you should be playing in the current expansion and week. It's sort of like Bungie saying, hey, go play this because if you do, you'll be rewarded X for it. And I absolutely love that. It gives you a variety of what you can play, gives you a breakdown of what rewards you're getting, and gives you an estimate time of how long it should take to complete it, which I think as an experienced player, these timings may be off slightly. Encore does not take 40 minutes, it takes more like 10 to 15 if you're fast, even for the max reward grade on Expert. I also like that there's a variety of what you can play. You can play solo, play in a fire team, or even play fire team solo. It's sort of like scrolling on Netflix in a way, to see what you want to watch but instead play, and overall, they got the base idea right. I like how it is, but there are several issues with this, and I think they will eventually improve the portal as time goes on. Maybe it will have a weekly featured raid and dungeon system in there, and more than just 2 Crucible playlists, but we'll have to wait and see, because the idea is great, but the content is lacking. But I will give credit where credit is due, because being able to focus that specific gear that you need that's holding you back, and get bonus rewards, is absolutely fantastic. I'm not saying I like the power grind, but considering we have a power grind and power leveling system, this system overall is way better than the RNG leveling system we had in the past with no RNG protection at all, when you had that one item holding you back. Surely you can't disagree with that. Now on the downside though, there just isn't enough content in there, and it feels like this season's content is literally power grinding, and the only power grinding with all the content. It does feel better though, and when I say better, I mean this in the sense that you now have something to chase, that being tier 5 armor, but this leads to the second issue, which is you gotta get to that power first, before you can even start to earn tier 5s. So you're grinding power just to eventually grind tier 5s, and that level resets every 6 months, forcing you to regrind all over again. I don't think it would be as bad if we had more content in there to choose from, or new content, but also, I feel like for experienced players, they should have kept weekly featured rewards on the destinations and not made it look like some sort of memorial, because the desaturation really killed the vibe that Destiny was all about, exploration and adventure into new and old worlds. I know they're changing this, which is a good thing, and I hope that in time more improvements will come, but at the moment it feels like we're in the stage of D2 launch, where the portal is the launch month of D2, and that hopefully Renegades and the expansions to come after will add on to this to really make Destiny a great and fun experience again. The content that might feel grindy or pointless actually means something and be more rewarding and valuable to respect the player's time. Overall though, loving the Edge of Fate. It has its good and bad, but I'm starting to get used to it. These hundreds of encore farming though just ain't the way to go in my opinion. You aren't forced to run them to level up, but you are if you want it to be faster, and the player will always choose the fastest method where appropriate when it comes to getting things done efficiently. What do you guys think of the portal?